Christian,
Like
will you join Lifetime Fitness with me so that I have somebody to play racquetball with?
I don't even know where there is a Lifetime.
There's one in Centennial and there's one in Cherry Creek. It's only $180 a month.
Yeah, I'm good. I pay $9 a month.
Dude, they have literally everything you could possibly want ever. There's like literally a spa built in, restaurants. There's an outdoor heated pool and an indoor pool. And then there's indoor tennis courts, squash courts, and racquetball courts. It's like
that sounds like it's worth $180 a month,
dude.
just from
Honestly,
a pure entertainment standpoint.
I could afford it, but it's like one of those financial decisions where you're like, I can't justify it.
Oh, I could afford it. Ooh,
subtle flex. Pull a little Christian there talking about how much money I make.
Hey, listen,
Christian's like, yeah, I can pay. Here. And then Christian's like, yeah, I can pay for 2 memberships.
Yeah, pretty much.
But that's it. We're capped out after that.
Yeah, capped out after that. Real quick, before we get into this, have y'all seen that they're hosting a sports event for people that take steroids?
No, but I mean, I think that's how all sports events should be.
That's how they actually are.
It's called like the Enhanced Games or something, and they put out this really weird trailer of this white guy running, and he's like, "The world has denied me. I can't show you my face. Help me come out." And it's like, watch the Enhanced Games next year. And it's just a game. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And somebody's like, it's a game where everybody takes steroids. Which I think is fucking awesome.
But what is the actual game that they play?
What game are they playing?
It's like the Olympics. It's like they're doing a bunch of like events, a bunch of track and field events, but everybody's on steroids.
Why don't they just let baseball players take steroids? You and I were talking about baseball the other night. I would watch baseball if everybody looked like Barry Bonds.
Looked 100%. Like him, not played like him. Just they looked like him.
Well, just like with big crazy like traps and stuff. They're like touching his earlobes, like that type of shit.
You're so wrong about fucking baseball, dude. It's awesome.
It's not.
I've been watching a shit ton of it.
It's because you have nothing else to watch. That's why you started watching it now.
Well, I'm gonna watch it till the end of the season when football starts because football sucks.
Are you watching it every day?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, whenever the Marlins play, which is basically every day.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Like that sounds exhausting.
For 4 hours? Like what do you?
It's not. But that's the thing. That's the thing. It's not 4 hours anymore because
it's like three and a half.
No, it's not. It's literally the average game this season has been 2.5 hours long. The Marlins game the other day was only 2 because of the pitch clock.
Do people like
so
that
much
more?
faster now? Yeah, people love it, dude. It's actually really entertaining now, and you're just being a fucking hater.
I mean, that does make it sound a small bit more intriguing, but at the end of the day, it's still 2 hours of them playing baseball, and that's kind of where you lose me.
All right, whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're your hosts, Blake, Christian, and Trey, and this is Totally Biased Music. We had some technical difficulties we had to deal with, so I feel like it kind of sucked the energy out of the studio, so we're going to try to bring it back.
I mean, they didn't know that until you just said that.
Well, I'm saying it sucked the energy out of our studio. Like I can kind of feel it lingering, you know. And today we're reviewing "Physical Graffiti" by Led Zeppelin. Trey, do you want to give us a little intro here?
Yeah, I'll do the intro, but I'm going to try and do it like in your cadence.
Okay.
So let me kind of get in like character for a second.
Yep. That's great.
Right. Okay. Led Zeppelin were on a tear in the early part of their career, releasing a streak of riff-driven albums between 1969 and 1973 that set a new standard in hard rock. While each of those first 5 records was created during a concentrated period of recording, much of the sixth, the double LP Physical Graffiti, drew from material developed at earlier sessions. Tracks like the crunching Houses of the Holy, intended as the title track for their 1973 album, and the loose and lyrical Down by the Seaside, written in 1970 and reworked for the group's 4th record, but ultimately not included, may have been meant for other projects, but they easily meet the band's exacting standards. And the odds and ends feel of Physical Graffiti is one of its strengths, showing every side of Led Zeppelin in a single sprawling package. I did also take the liberty of finding a interview with John Paul Jones from NPR. So this is from 2015. So it was like the 40th anniversary of the album. And John Paul Jones says the essence of Physical Graffiti is the fact that we go back to this house, this residential house in the countryside called Headley Grange, where we recorded the 4th album. It's in a residential house. And it's the equivalent of the sitting room, the lounge, the main formal room where you'd have your Christmases in a large house. and there was a fire in there, and you could put logs on the fire, and it was all really, really nice. And you had a multi-track studio recording, so you could actually get to work on this stuff without having to necessarily go into a studio and comply by other people's hours. With this, you could just wake up in the morning, have your breakfast, and get into the music. Have an evening meal. I can't remember now what we used to have for lunch. Probably cocaine and alcohol, if I had to imagine. But I just remember the whole, sort of whole work ethic of this, and it was just so productive.
Nice.
So Physical Graffiti is widely considered as like the last great Led Zeppelin album. After this, I think they had like Into the Outdoor, which is not terribly good. And a couple other like minor duds. But we picked this album just because I think we wanted to do a Led Zeppelin record. I didn't want to do Led Zeppelin 4 because it's been talked to death, even though I really like that album. And it was kind of between this and Led Zeppelin 2. So what did you guys think on your is this the first time you've listened to the album in full? Is this something that's in your daily rotation? What's your deal with Physical Graffiti?
Christian?
So, I mean, like, I didn't really grow up listening to Led Zeppelin, like, in depth, like, through and through on albums. Like most people in the Birmingham metro area, I grew up listening to some Led Zeppelin because of fucking 106.9, The Eagle. Rock music so hard you'll shit your fucking pants. And then they play Imagine Dragons. But I think it was just like, it was out of kind of my parents' era. They were showing me stuff like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden and all that. So I didn't really get into Led Zeppelin heavily until probably middle school. And it was when I used to hang out with fucking Warren Zimmerman all the time. And we would go to his house after school and we would hide under his deck in the backyard, and we would hit gravity bongs until we got so high that we were going to throw up. And he would just look over at me and he would be like, it's time to let the fucking lead out. And he would just blast it through the house as I laid on the ground and had a panic attack. So that was kind of like my real introduction to Led Zeppelin, into that, just like diving into classic rock. This was probably the first time getting back in and going through this album, and it's just fucking crazy going back through this, the amount of influence of music that they had that worked so fucking well together. And I think that's what still just kind of blows me away about them. Obviously, you know, lyrically, it's fucking Led Zeppelin. It's angelic, beautiful shit. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed going back through this. It was awesome.
Nice.
Very nice. Yeah, I'm a huge Led Zeppelin fan. I have been for a while. I repeatedly bring up Led Zeppelin in the conversation when people say the Beatles are the greatest band of all time, which clearly they're not, and we don't need to get into that whole debate with Trey, but I always offer the counterpoint that it's either Pink Floyd or Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin has just gone through insane eras. They're a timeless band. They have arguably the best rock album of all time in Led Zeppelin 4. There's nothing about Led Zeppelin that I dislike. I understand that their eras definitely change as they grow and kind of go throughout time, but they're just a timeless band to me. It's the type of rock music that I really like. You know, it's heavy at points, and Robert Plant, voice of a fucking angel, dude. That guy like is unmatched. His voice is one of those voices that you know immediately who it is. It's either him or knockoff Led Zeppelin, Greta Van Fleet, who's fucking horrible, and I can't stand.
Wait, you have to wait till we get to Ride to Dodge for that, because I got a fun thing going.
So yeah, I mean, Physical Graffiti is great. I don't know what my favorite Led Zeppelin album is. Led Zeppelin 2 is definitely up there. But I wanted to listen to Physical Graffiti again because I haven't listened to it front to back in a while. If I rinse things front to back, it's either 2, 3, or 4. Led Zeppelin 2, 3, or 4 that I predominantly listen to. So it was nice going back and listening to this again for sure. So yeah, Trey, what do you think? You can lead it from here.
Nice. Good job, Blake. When it comes to like what's the name of the mountain that has all the faces of the presidents on it?
Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. So when it comes to like greatest bands of all time, I definitely think Led Zeppelin is like in the third area of the Mount Rushmore of rock music. You have the Beatles, Pink Floyd, Zeppelin, and Grateful Dead for me. The Rolling Stones are kind of close. They're hanging out in the corner somewhere. But I kind of came across Led Zeppelin, like really got interested in them after getting into Phish, because Phish covers Led Zeppelin like all the time. Like they cover Good Times, Bad Times all the time. They cover Whole Lot of Love. Everybody and their brother covers Dazed and Confused. So I wasn't like really into Led Zeppelin in high school at all. My like high school bands were more so, Pink Floyd and the Beatles. But Led Zeppelin 2 is probably my favorite Zeppelin album. It's phenomenal. I can't say that I'd ever really listened to like Physical Graffiti all the way through with like a thoughtful ear. My sister had this album on vinyl because she was like considerably cooler than me, like when she was in high school and I was like in college. So I remember her having this record on vinyl. I think I remember we like listened to it a couple of times. I never like really, really paid attention to it. So this was a lot of fun to go back in and like kind of try and find some tracks that like I would like hear for the first time. For the most part, really, really loved it. There are some things that bother me about Led Zeppelin in general that kind of come to light on this album. Or not come to light on this album. They were doing it long before, but they did have a history of kind of ripping off blues musicians and like kind of taking things and making it their own. So we can talk about that track specifically that they did that on when we get to bottom tracks. But
damn, that doesn't sound like any artist that I know of that you love deeply that samples music consistently. But
it's a little different. There. I didn't put him up on my Mount Rushmore of greatest bands of all time. It's a little different. It's electronic music versus rock music. There's a difference in re-recording someone else's track, calling it your own. But I mean, listen, they're still up there. He felt
so good about it. He left it. He put it out for free.
Yeah. Hey, Derek is not on trial here. Okay.
We're about to make him on trial. We're about to put him on fucking trial right now.
We're different people. I don't really get this whole, like, y'all just do little digs at Pretty Lights, little digs at Pine Grove. Like, they're not me, right? I'm not in those bands.
Are you not?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to quit the podcast again, honestly. I think I'm done. With that, we can roll into top tracks. Blake, you want to go first?
Yeah, hang on. Let me pull up my notes here. Okay, so first one, In My Time of Dying. What a fucking journey this song is. It reminds me of, honestly, one of my favorite, probably the best Led Zeppelin song ever, When the Levee Breaks. It kind of has a very similar feel to When the Levee Breaks. It's a lot longer, but that's kind of the similarities I drew to it and why I liked it so much. It's a fucking beautiful song through and through, and it comes in, right at the beginning of the album, kind of gets you ready for it, which I really like. So I enjoyed that song a lot. I was outside today and I threw in the AirPods. I got a little kiddie pool for Jinx. I was letting her play in the kiddie pool, and I was just listening to Led Zeppelin smoking a cigar, and this song came on, and I was like, oh yeah,
what a fucking American afternoon.
Yeah, dude, summer is here. All I had to do was whip out the charcoal grill. It would have been perfect.
Throw a burger on there.
And then second, I mean, obviously this should be a question. Kashmir. It's fucking Kashmir. Like, it's a classic Led Zeppelin song. Everybody knows Kashmir. It's hard as shit. Like, it just is. It's quintessential Zeppelin. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I imagine they have a greatest hits album, and I imagine Kashmir's on there. But I love that song. It'll never get old to me. Next is 10 Years Gone. I like 10 Years Gone. It's a very good mix of like slow and fast Zeppelin. It starts really slow, then it kind of picks up as the song goes on. So I just really enjoyed that. Like, Robert Plant gets to show his voice really, really well in that song. Instrumentation is amazing, and I just think the tempo of it is perfect for what they're trying to do in that song. And then honorable mention, I don't know, is it the Wanton song?
Wonton.
Wonton? I thought Wonton was Wonton.
I don't know, man. Wanton, maybe?
Whatever. The Wonton song.
Pussy tastes like wonton soup. Pussy tastes like wonton soup.
I was shocked to hear Robert Plant say that in this song.
Yeah, it was a weird quote.
Didn't expect that from him. But that's an honorable mention for me. The guitar riff throughout the whole thing, it's kind of just the consistent guitar riff throughout the whole song. I just love. It's really great in this song. So that's top three honorable mention. What do you got, Christian?
My number one, and it might be top 25 song of all time for me is In the Light. It's easily my favorite song on this album. It is fucking ghostly and dark and amazing, and just that line, those lines, like, if you feel that you can't go on and your will's sinking low, just believe and you can't go wrong. In the light, you will find the road. I mean, when that fucking song, the bottom drops out of that thing, and it just gets me every single time. And I think they put it on, maybe it's the last episode of the first season of Mindhunter, when he's getting hugged by Ed. When he's getting hugged by Ed Kemper at the fucking end, that song comes in and it goes off. So easily my number one. This was a weird one for me that I liked, but it took me a few listens to realize it. And it's Down by the Seaside, and it's just this really different vibe from them. I think it's apart from the album. It almost is like this psychedelic kind of surf rock. And there's this reverb on the guitar that I just love. And the line, sing loud for sunshine, pray hard for rain. I love that.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
great line.
My number 3 is 10 Years Gone. The pace change on this, parts of the beginning almost reminded me of kind of early grunge. And the change in it is just amazing throughout. And then that opening line, then as it was, then again it will be. And though the course may change sometimes, rivers always meet the sea.
Oh, God, right in the feels, you know?
Just great.
Right
just
in
great.
the feels.
Well, gentlemen, we were really getting good at just being really aligned with each other's top songs. So my number 1 is In My Time of Dying. That song is just absolutely amazing. And I can kind of hear a lot of where Phish gets their influence from Led Zeppelin. I think Led Zeppelin, yes, and Pink Floyd are probably Phish's 3 biggest influences in a lot of ways. And Frank Zappa. But In My Time of Dying, it's almost like Robert Plant's doo-wopping and using his voice as an instrument at different times. It's so long, it feels like it's almost a live jam, especially towards the end. The drums are fantastic.
I was gonna say that. Sorry to interrupt. I was gonna say when I first listened to it, it reminded me a lot of a Phish song, honestly, and the fact that it's 10 minutes long is also very Phish-like.
By the end of it, it's we're all playing off of each other. That little excerpt I read by John Paul Jones, where it's we were all in a house living together, and we just hop in and play music whenever we wanted to and shit like that. That's kind of what creates that type of a record. So you can kind of really feel that on this song, I think. My second top song is In the Light. It's the intro for me, man. It's that prog, lots of fog machines, dim light kind of coming from down and back up. You know what I'm saying? Robert Plant's out there with his super long, beautiful hair, just ready to melt people into the ground. So I don't know if they ever opened with this song, but I feel like they definitely should have, all the fucking time. And then my third top song is 10 Years Gone. Just a really beautiful, probably one of the more beautiful lyrical songs on this record. There's no talk of Middle Earth and all that weird fucking shit they talk about in Kashmir. I like Kashmir, but so this.
Shut the fuck up, Frodo. We get it.
We don't. Yeah, fuck Sam. We know y'all want to do that. Blind Stars of Fortune each have several rays on the wings of maybe down in Birds of Prey kind of make me feel sometimes didn't have to grow, but as the eagle leaves the nest, it's got so far to go.
Don't we all have so far to go, brother?
Might be talking about that eagle in Lord of the Rings, to be honest with you, now that I read it out loud.
They're big Lord of the Rings guys.
There's
love nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, sure. How crazy is it that 3 of these guys are still alive?
It is pretty insane. I mean, Keith Richards is still alive, so I guess it's not that surprising.
Yeah, but Led Zeppelin went very, very hard.
Yeah, true.
Very hard. For honorable mention, I also had Wonton Song. Oh.
Wonton Song.
I didn't mean to say it like that. Kashmir and Houses of the Holy. Houses of the Holy is just big guitars. I really like that song.
Now I'm just picturing in Robert Plant's voice, he goes to Middle Earth.
That's basically what all of Led Zeppelin 2 is about. He's actually playing in Asheville tonight. Him and Allison Krauss have a show here.
Here comes Gandalf the Grey. You should go, dude. Why aren't you there?
I had a commitment to the pod. I don't let the pod down.
Fair.
I saw Robert playing at Okeechobee. And it was fucking awesome. He played Black Dog and Rock and Roll as his closing songs, which is fucking classic.
We saw him at Bonnaroo 2014, 15 maybe.
Did we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't let me forget to do a Bonnaroo recap after we're done with this. By the way,
that's I imagine the second subject of the evening. So bottom songs. Christian, you want to go first?
I really didn't like Rover. It just wasn't there. The pace generally felt off, and it just it kind of lost me throughout. Y'all might hate this, but Custard Pie. There's this low static organ in the background that's kind of playing behind the guitar, and it sounds like it's just constantly playing like a brown shit note. Mm-hmm. It makes you want to poo your pants, and I fucking can't stand it. And it's all I can hear.
What is the shit note exactly?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, because I'm listening to it now, and I'm like, I don't...
You got to listen close, but once you hear it, you'll never unhear the brown note, and it makes you want to do to your drawers because it's this static low. It's a note that somehow hits you right in your lower intestine that makes you want to just go to the bathroom.
Yeah, but Jimmy Page is ripping on this song, dude. He goes so hard. It ain't for me.
And then I just really didn't like Black Country Woman. The bottom half of the album loses me just a hair.
What a title.
But yeah.
Yeah. Blake, what are your bottom three?
Aren't you missing one?
No, it's three. Right?
No, Rover, Custard Pie, and Black Country Woman.
Rover.
He just kind of skipped over Custard Pie. Just say he didn't like it.
No, Custard Pie's the brown note.
Yeah, he skipped over Rover.
My bad. Sorry, I was on Twitter.
Okay, so do you have tweets for today, or am I going to have
a tweet?
Okay,
one. He's getting them right now. He just said it.
Yeah, I just told you. I just called my shot.
House of Holy. This sounds like an '80s summer song to me. Like, it sounds like an '80s hair band. Like, released it in May for the kids that are getting out of school. It's their senior year. Like, they're going to play House of Holy, riding in the convertible out of high school, getting ready to go be an electrician, or whatever they did back in the 70s when they graduated high school. I imagine it was something like that. It wasn't the vibe. It kind of reminds me of Trey, what is that song on The Wall? That's like an 80s song, but it's actually really good.
I don't know. Hold on, let me look at the track list, and I'll probably be able to look at it and tell you.
I'd be able to tell you the second I saw it. It's early in the album. Everybody's gonna have to pause while I look this up. No, Young Lust. Young Lust is like a fucking 80s rock song. So that's kind of what this sounded like, but not good. So I didn't like it. Man, you guys are really going to hate this, and I'm sorry. But In the Light, dude.
Don't do it.
Wrong.
It's like, get to the fucking point, man. Like, they got a 2-minute intro of, like, whatever the fuck Trey was saying earlier, and it's like, man, just get to the song, dude.
You have
and
patience. That's your problem
it's
with
just
a lot of things in life. You like, patience.
It's kind of chaotic.
That's the problem with your generation.
That's the problem with your generation. You just don't know what it means to work hard for something.
Maybe if I had taken a Vyvanse before this song, I would be able to stay focused long enough. But like a 2-minute intro of like some fucking horn shit, whatever's going on in the beginning, nah, man, not for me. And then Night Flight. Night Flight is just boring to me. It's just a boring song, boring, chaotic. The audio on it's really weird. You can't really hear Robert Plant super well, which I don't understand what happened there. Like even on the remaster. So it totally took it. Like it took me out of the fucking. I don't ever want to listen to that song again, bro. I want it gone from the album. I want it removed from existence.
Easy.
All right. So those are my bottom three. Trey, what do you got?
I also am not a huge fan of Custard Pie. It has nothing to do with brown notes. I just don't like. I don't think it's a great example of kind of a lot of the different things they do great on this record. And it's like the opening track, and it's kind of starts off with like a instead of like a bang, you know. Down by the Seaside, I don't love. I just think that 10 Years Gone is a better version of Down by the Seaside. Like it's like in a similar vein as far as like being kind of a little bit softer and a little more like a better example of like Robert Plant's like vocal range. So it's not that I like hate the song. I just like think there's a much better genre of the song immediately following it, which kind of gives it a little, not super chill thing going on there. And then my third and final song that I really don't like, and I have a roommate named Stu, and I do enjoy dancing with him. Like, shows, we've seen Tipper together a lot, and I do like to boogie with Stu, but unfortunately I do not like the song Boogie with Stu. And so after deciding that I didn't like the song Boogie with Stu, I of course had to come up with some, pretentious reason why. And so I started looking into it, and here's a fun fact about the song Boogie with Stu. The album track Boogie with Stu is credited to John Bonham, John Paul Jones, Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, Ian Stewart, and Mrs. Valens, who is Richie Valens' mom. And his 1959 track, Ooh My Head, inspired Boogie with Stu. And by inspired, it is pretty much the same song. Yeah, it's the same fucking song. But they gave her royalties to kind of like placate her. And so John Paul Jones says, what we tried to do is give Richie's mother credit because we heard she never received any royalties from any of her son's hits, and Robert did lean on that lyric a bit. So what happens? They tried to sue us for all of the song. So we said bugger off. So basically they tried to give her royalties. She was like, fuck you, I want everything that has to do with this song.
It's probably because they gave her like bass nectar royalties, like what he gives to his collaborators.
Oh yeah, we're going to do royalties. There's a cent on the dollar.
Here's 1% of sales. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity.
We're going to pay you an exposure.
Yeah, but then if it were the bass nectar version of it, all of the artists would have been really excited to do it, would have blasted socials everywhere, and then when Led Zeppelin got canceled, they'd be like, "Yeah, I never wanted to do that song. I basically had to. I was forced to after the fact." So I know I rode that high and it made my entire career, and now my entire fan base is basically bass nectars. But I didn't want to do that song, so
I hated it the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite thing is when Michael Smalley gets on the internet and tries to talk about how great he is, and I'm like, dude, you knew, right? And we know that you knew. So, like, quit acting like you're a good person because you're just straight up not a good person. Anyway, let's move on. So that were our top three and bottom three of Led Zeppelin. I'm really curious to see where you guys landed with your overall ratings. Blake, you want to go?
Yeah, before we get into that, I want to read a little bit about Physical Graffiti. So, fun fact, this shit is 16 times platinum in the United States.
No one puts up numbers like those Mount Rushmore boys.
16 million sold on this album, which is a preposterous fucking number. It was critically acclaimed upon release. Rolling Stone gave it a 4 out of 5. There's a bunch of things on here, the Daily Telegraph, All Music, all 5-star ratings. And then Rolling Stone put out an interesting article. They don't have a review associated with this article, but I'm just going to read the beginning of it. It says, they sparked riots from Boston to Milan, sold out concerts from Hong Kong to Hamburg. Each of their 5 previous albums has gone platinum, selling more than 1 million copies. Led Zeppelin 4 has sold more than 3 million. This article came out at the time of the album release. They've set new records for U.S. concert attendance, drawing 56,000 to a single show in Tampa, Florida in 1973, and 120,000 to 6 concerts in the New York area in 1974. On paper, at least, Led Zeppelin is unquestionably the world's most popular rock band. Yes, but is it the world's best rock band? That the question should even arise reflects not only on the band's status, but also the current state of music. What's the competition? The Rolling Stones, The Who, and moreover, with the release of Physical Graffiti, Led Zeppelin's 6th album, the question has actually become relevant. This 2-record set, the product of almost 2 years of labor, is the band's Tommy, Beggar's Banquet, and Sgt. Pepper rolled into one. Physical Graffiti is Led Zeppelin's bid for artistic respectability. What do you think about that, Trey? Any thoughts on that?
I think their bid had been solidified by the time this album came out. But
you think?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what they did with Led Zeppelin 1 is awesome, right? And so they come out with Led Zeppelin 2, and it's like, holy shit, this is somehow better. And then Led Zeppelin 3 is pretty damn good. And then Led Zeppelin 4 comes out, and it's like, what the fucking else can this band do? You know what I mean? And I think they were already at that level of, like, greatness early in their career.
Do you think they had like an artistic standing, or was it just like hard rock music? Like they were kind of like, I always credit them as being like the first hard rock band, really. Like if you're coming from the Beatles in like the late 60s, early 70s, like Led Zeppelin was the first band to kind of like play hard rock music. Like, do you think that speaks their credibility, or what did they have artistic standing before this?
I think hard rock is artistic standing. And I think people like really resonated with it in a way that they resonated with like those like mid to late Beatles albums. And you got to like the Beatles, they were dead by this time, not actually dead. But they weren't playing music anymore by the time Led Zeppelin was really taken over. And it was kind of like a whole, like things in the 70s, I feel like moved so quickly from year to year when it comes to like music and what got really popular really fast. Like you had to really keep up. But I feel like Led Zeppelin had already kind of conquered the mountain at that point.
That's fair. Christian, any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree.
That's fair. All right.
Thoughts, Christian?
Thanks for expanding on that. Trey did a lot of heavy lifting there for you.
I was reading shit, bro. I'm sorry.
Okay. Ratings. Trey, you can lead it off.
Oh, wait. I called on you first, though.
Oh, did you? Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a solid 7.7 here. I think that's.
I feel like you got to go 0.5 or whole number.
No, 7.7 because 7.5 is too low, 8's too high. So 7.7. Yeah, 7.2. It's a 7.77. Oh my god, angel numbers.
You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
I was literally saying in my head, Trey's about to do the thing.
What about when Trey tried to do Alfred and Christian said, "You're still in Bane," kind of?
That was kind of a Bane, Alfred, Batman like combo.
Yeah.
There was a British accent there, so.
7.77 is my final rating.
Fair, Christian.
I'm going solid 8 on this. Great fucking album, all around rips.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 8 as well. Really good album. Excited to kind of push it more in the rotation. While we're talking about great albums from this kind of era, man, Exile to Mainstream by the Rolling Stones is a really good rock record. And
I have not really like listened to Rolling Stones like that.
Me either until I started listening. So there's a song once again covered by Fish called "Loving Cup" that's on that album.
Loving Cuck.
Yeah, Loving Cuck. Yeah, it's just about it's about Keith Richards and Mick Jagger getting in a very compromising situation. But yeah, so I listened to it. I was like, oh, I'm going to check this out. And then my friend Sonny was like, yeah, this is like one of my favorite albums growing up. You should definitely listen to it front to back. And it's fantastic. So listen to Exile on Mainstream.
For sure. Yeah, we need to do more Led Zeppelin for sure. We really do need to do Led Zeppelin 4. I mean, it's short, and you're right, it has been talked about a shit ton, but like, man, it's so fucking good. It would be worth it.
So I have a confession because I misheard what you said just then, and I thought you said Exile to Mainstream, which is an album by Matchbox 20.
I'll be honest with you, I also really like that album. I listened to it on a church trip one time.
I was like,
sounds like it rips.
I think you were actually on that church trip, Christian.
Really? No, I never went on a church trip.
You never went to snowshoe with us? Okay, yeah, it was your brother.
Nope, absolutely not.
Well,
he would burst into flames on the bus, bro.
Oh no! Don't act like he. No, he would go to youth group. Christian went to youth group.
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
I would free dinner, boy.
They had free dinner on the trip too. Shit, like free breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I would have loved to have seen Christian in church, bro. I would have loved
he was
that.
Hands up in the air.
Hands up, eyes closed, eyes closed, head down with the eyes closed, doing a little rock back and forth.
Too. He's like, y'all are just here for the social aspects, but I'm here because I actually love God.
Yeah, he was gatekeeping God.
Right, absolutely.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, all right. And that is going to be Physical Graffiti by Led Zeppelin. Blake, moving on to your segment, Blake's Bonnaroo Bonanza. How was it? I'm really
Yeah.
I'm really bummed I didn't get to go.
Yeah, Trey, can you explain what the fuck happened? We got to get that out of the way first. My group was very excited to see you, and they were all very disappointed when you didn't show up.
Yeah,
I was
first
hyping
off,
it
that
up.
makes my ego just shoot through the roof. So what happened was last year to go to Bonnaroo for a single day, we just kind of waited around until tickets started popping up. People can't make it. People get sick. People get arrested. Whatever. And so we take advantage of their misfortune, and we buy their tickets for much less money than they spent on them. And it's just a tale as old as time. And it was pretty easy last year. We did get scammed once, but then we got the money back, so it wasn't a big deal. So we're going to do the same thing this year. And it just because I think of the lineup, especially on Saturday, and I think a big part of it, like I told you, is Tyler Childers in Tennessee, and the Foo Fighters, I think on Sunday also brought in a ton of people. So people weren't like really leaving like they had in the past. It was just a lot harder to find a ticket for cheap. The day passes were like a little over $200, and we just weren't going to pay that much money just to go for one day. So it just didn't work out financially, unfortunately. Got to save money for the sample guy tour. But I really wanted to go, and it was the person that was kind of my partner in crime for the weekend that he just like wasn't really willing to pay the money. Which I mean, we had an agreed upon budget. We were like, if we can find tickets under this amount, we're gonna go, and we just couldn't find tickets under that amount. So
yeah, I mean, it's sold out for the first time in years, so I knew it was going to be tough. There's a fuck ton of people there.
It just usually works out for me. I was really surprised that it didn't.
Yeah. I got some bad news for you guys, and you guys are not going to like this, but I got to say it. Both Grizz sets were really fucking good, man.
The second one looked awesome.
They were really good, dude. I knew Christian was going to make it face at that. I didn't want it to be the truth either, but, man, I was up close for that first set, and that shit was banging. Let me tell you, dude. And I have long-standing Grizz hater. It's always been like, all right, man, just get to Bass Nectar, you know? Because, like, he was opening for Bass Nectar at every festival ever, and I was like, all right, man.
Weird
like,
coincidence.
This is cool, but, like, now I'm trying to listen to Bass Nectar. But I think without that clouding my vision, I got to listen to the set and enjoy it objectively, and he fucking threw down, dude. And that first set, like, I think my biggest gripe with him when he blew up, he stopped playing his saxophone, which was like really a huge pull for Grizz. Like it works really well for him. And that first set, he was dropping some crazy ass like dubstep, but was playing the sax over it, and it just worked so well, man. I was really impressed. And the Chasing the Golden Hour set, nice chill vibes. I took a nap the last 15 minutes to rally because I knew it was going to be a long night going into STS 9.
Smart.
So overall enjoyable. Some other highlights. Zed's Dead Thursday night. So they played the other stage, and then they played a set at Where in the Woods. Shout out to my friend Crystal and Sam. They stayed the whole fucking set in the woods till 5 a.m. with me. Our group slowly dropped like flies throughout the night, and then it came down, and there were just three, and we just kept vibing. And they were really throwing it down, and they dropped Leave Me Like This by Skrillex. The crowd fucking lost it. That was a highlight. Like, it was really fucking good. Trey, you'll be happy to know, Kendrick's set, amazing. I got to give credit where it's due. You know, I told myself, I woke up and I was like, I'm going to go into this open-minded. I'm going to go in
ready.
Really? Yeah, so I was like, I'm going to put everything aside. I'm going to go in excited to see Kendrick Lamar. And he did not disappoint. He had a nice balance. He would play like 2 hits and then play a Mr. Morale song. And then he'd play like 3 hits and then play a Mr. Morale song. So he like sprinkled it in to where it wasn't just a Mr. Morale set, which is what I was worried about.
I do want to point out that he did not play very many Butterfly songs at all. Still.
He didn't, which is disappointing.
Because that album's not meant to be played in a festival setting. So I'm glad you had a good time.
It was a lot of fun. And
I'm also glad I'm right.
He played the Nostalgia verse, that Pusha T song, which is so sick.
That's one of his best verses.
Yeah, so that was amazing. Odessa Saturday night. I'm not an Odessa fan. Like, I've seen him, but like it was the main stage. There was nobody else playing, so we all went, and goddamn, that shit was a party. and they were launching more fireworks than I've ever seen in my life when those motherfuckers were ending. I didn't even think they had that many fireworks in the state of Tennessee. That shit went on for like 20 fucking minutes, and it was sick.
No, buddy, they got a lot of fireworks in the state of Tennessee.
Okay, so on to the big moment of Bonnaroo. My Morning Jacket into JID into STS9. Trey, you were almost right. I almost couldn't leave My Morning Jacket. It was very hard. We were deep in the crowd, and Jim James was just really taking me there. I had a little half chub going. I was half staff, and like it was hard to pull out of there. I kept saying one more song, and then it got to like 150 or 12:55, and JID was starting at 1. And I just turned around and we fucking gunned it to JID, and that dude tore the fucking other tent down, dude. It was like everybody there was the biggest JID fan, bro. They were fucking moshing, they were singing every fucking word. He played Dance Now like halfway through the set. I thought he was either going to open or close with it. He just kind of flowed. He did like a string of what's that album? What's the newest album? Forever Story. He did like a string of Forever Story songs. So he went like Crack Sandwich into Dance Now into Blood and Them, like just back to back to back, like
that's
seamless transition. And it was like, man, it was chaos. It was so much fun. So then we bounced back, caught the end of My Morning Jacket, which was great. And then we rallied all. I'm surprised. Basically, the entirety of my group made it to STS9. They didn't stay the whole time, but we all started STS9 together. And kind of the same thing with ZZ. They just started dropping off as it went later into the night. I think we left around 4:45 because we assumed they were going to stop at 5, which I don't know if they ended up doing that or not. We were like, no, we're not.
Pretty much. Yeah. Oh, so did you leave before Baracco got played? Sorry, that's like every STS9. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like every STS9. But we left at 4:45 because we were like, we're not trying to deal with the crowd walking back. Like, we want to get a petty cab.
Was there still a lot of people there?
Oh, there was a fuck ton, dude. There was fuck ton. And like, we had the moon mat, so like we were dancing around, but then we'd lay on the moon mat for a little bit and just chill. Like when they kind of brought it down a little bit, we'd jump back up. So it was fantastic.
Sounds like a great Bonnaroo.
It was great. I do want to say Marcus Mumford, probably one of the worst shows I've ever seen in my entire life.
Don't imagine it was good.
I stopped by just to give him the benefit of the doubt. I was like, let me stop by and see what old Marcus is up to and see where his sons could be. And
they weren't there.
Was on stage with an acoustic guitar alone, no band, nobody else on stage, just him, a guitar and a microphone, and it was the most boring shit I've ever seen in my life. Like it was horrendous. And somebody told me afterwards, they're like, "Bro, they launched fireworks at that show." I was like, "Excuse me?
For what reason?
Was he playing fucking like Say No More?" And there's just fireworks going off in the background. Like, what the fuck? And then final show, Foo Fighters. I mean, it's the Foo Fighters, man. They've been there before. They know how to close out a festival. They fucking tore the house down. I cried. He talked about Taylor Hawkins at one point. I cried like a baby.
What did he say? I was kind of curious about that.
They played, what song was it? I can't remember the song.
Some song was his favorite song.
Yeah, that's what they did.
They played it at the mountain.
Yeah, and it was one of their newer ones, but he was like, this was Taylor Hawkins' favorite song. And he played it, and man, like me and 3 other people that were with me just started crying. Like, it was sad, dude. Like, but he brought out Haley Williams from Paramore to sing My Hero, which was fucking amazing. He brought out his daughter at one point. Like, they're great, man. Every time I see them, they're great.
They're awesome.
No disappointment. So, yeah, that was Bonnaroo. I will say, I have said for a while to everybody, and nobody believes me, that that was the last dance, and that I'm not going back to Bonnaroo. And I thoroughly mean that. But the thing is like I left and I got disconnected from my group. And as I was leaving, I just turned around and kind of looked at the arch for a second and just like appreciated the moment and the time that we've had there. And it was a blast, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. But you know, it's a lot of money. I'm getting old, and I want to see and do other things. But it's been a blast, man. I love Bonnaroo, and I'll always love Bonnaroo, and I hope eventually I go back. But shout out to everybody that's been with us over the years, including you guys. It's always been a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you not living in the Southeast makes it a lot different. Having to fly with camping shit, having to fly and maybe rent an RV, that type of stuff. That's a lot more of a pain in the ass than just to drive a handful of hours.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, like, That's the
You're
thing.
a Coachella guy now, huh?
I'm a Coachella guy now, dude. I have no other choice. But like, that's the thing is like, it's like, I mean, in total, we probably spent $2,000. You know, like with the flights, the RV spot, the food, the drinks, like all that shit. The ticket, it adds up, and it's like,
yeah. Imagine if you did drugs, like it
yeah,
gets really
exactly. So yeah, but it was fun. All right, rides or dies. I guess we're still not playing songs, so
yeah.
Trey?
I guess we just got to talk about our rides or dies. All right, so for the first time in rides or dies history, I have sent in a song that I think dies. I think the song's fucking terrible. Actually, I don't. So let me back up. I don't hate this song. The song, for everyone out there, is called "Light My Love" by Greta Van Fleet. I think the song's actually kind of good. If you just listen to the song on its own, you'd be like, this is kind of fun. Like, this guy's got a good voice. It's kind of like, it reminds me of something. What does it remind me of? It reminds me of Led Zeppelin. And this band was essentially put together in a similar way to Led Zeppelin was put together. But they were put together kind of to emulate the Led Zeppelin sound. It is a knockoff Led Zeppelin. Them as a band and as like an institution is absolute trash. And this is probably one of my most like hated bands in the world. But I just wanted to give you all the song and be like, hey, they can make okay music. Nevertheless, the song dies for me. How about y'all?
Christian.
I was prepared to fucking destroy you.
I know. See, I took you on.
I was prepared to fucking kill you on this podcast out of the pure just disgrace for sending that in after the album that we just reviewed. Mm-hmm. I absolutely hate everything about Greta Van Fleet. I do not care if they can make decent music. The guy looks like a squirrely little fuck. Their name angers me to my fucking core. This dies. I hope that they die. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, this dies. They're ass. I can't stand them. Like, my friends unironically like them. It pisses me off to no fucking end. Their whole shtick is, and the thing is look, if he had a similar voice to Robert Plant and played like a different type of music, then you could kind of be like, oh, he's not trying to do this. But they play music like Led Zeppelin. Like, they make bad Led Zeppelin music. It's fucking Kmart Led Zeppelin, which, like, that's what pisses me off most about them. So, dies forever.
You feel this visceral reaction. This is the visceral reaction people should have when they hear this band. The anger, the pure guttural, like, there's just something wrong with what I'm listening to. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, yeah, it dies. All right, Blake, you want to tell us yours?
Yes. So, my song was Counting. And it is by, do you have it pulled up, Trey?
Yeah, it's by Hamby.
Yeah, so this song was played during Zed's Dead's first set, and Crystal fucking sniped it and sent it to the group and was like, this was the best song of the weekend. And this song just, like, man, it gets the energy going. It's a fucking bop. If you're into electronic music, please listen to it. It will get you ready to fucking conquer your day. So that is why I picked it. They dropped it during the first set. Man, the crowd went nuts. So what do you guys think?
Christian, you go ahead.
Am I going first again? Yeah. I mean, this song fucking rides. Hamby initially got popular from another track that he released that Skrillex was dropping all the time called, sorry, I'm pulling it up really quick. Called Skanka. Skanka, whatever. That was what he dropped in. It just, that kind of blew him up into the spotlight. And I'm not sure if he's like getting signed to Zed's Dead label or something, but they have been playing his shit nonstop. This song, that 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, you scream if you want some more. Like, oh, so push it, watch me work it. I'm perfect.
Yes, dude. Such a fucking vibe.
Yeah, I've listened to it a couple times.
Yeah,
it rides.
Yeah, the song's awesome. I think you like it. Whether you think of this consciously or subconsciously, it reminds you of a particular long-haired person that we all know. At least it does for me. Especially just kind of the way like that the heavy like is like sustained synth or whatever. It's really cool. I like the song a lot. Yeah, it's like you could not go to a off-kilter electronic show without hearing Skanka for the last, or Skanka, or however the fuck you say the name of the song, for like the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hamby's cool. I actually thought maybe he played, she played, who knows, played at Bonnaroo, which is why you selected it.
I don't believe so. But I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think so. He did just do like a few stops. He did just do a few like U.S. stops, but he's a UK dude.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Nice. Christian, what was your song?
Yep.
Oh wait, Rides.
My track.
Rides.
Yeah,
Rides.
My track is Dead Man by this artist I found a while back called, his name's Soli Had. He's based out of New York. I think he started playing guitar when he was like 10 and then making kind of R&B rap beats when he was like 15. And I came across one of his songs, Way Too High, which is like a demo track of his a while back, and just fell in love with it. And then Ari showed me, he just did this like drop called Dead Man, and I just immediately fell in love with it.
Yeah, I like this. It's vocals are kind of that, whiny, sad boy vibes a little bit, which obviously I'm a huge fan of. So I was taken aback. It's not what I expected going into the song, but I like it a lot. It's a Rides for me.
You know this is up my alley. Whiny, sad. This is just my type of genre. I think it rides. Is this the same person you sent to me that you said's like a male Remy Wolf? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I agree on some levels. Some I think he's a little bit more on the like alternative type side, less pop, but definitely good. Rides.
Oh yes.
Nice.
So that's the very boring version of Rides or Dies.
Yeah, damn it. I fucking hated it.
Sucks,
it's
dude.
like we might have to cut the segment, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
Let me get a fuck Universal Music Group from the homies real quick. Everybody, if you're listening,
fuck them bitches.
just shoot out a fuck Universal Music Group. All right, Trey, I got some tweets as well, so I can compensate for the fact that you only have one.
Okay.
But ladies and gentlemen, we are back.
It's everyone's favorite segment, Trey and Blake's Terrible Twitter Takes. My name is Trey. His name is Blake. We'll be your host for the evening. This is from Will Sennett. He has been featured on the pod before. At sin_spud is his name. This was tweeted just yesterday, the 26th of June, 2023, Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. The flight attendants just hazed the new guy by convincing him to throw a piece of luggage out of the emergency exit. I would be laughing, but it was mine they threw out, and my best friend from high school's lacrosse jersey was in there. Oh yeah, and he's dead. So,
oh yeah, and he's dead.
I feel bad for that guy, for real. All right, we got one more. This is from at Roxy Tall, aka Roxy. They tweeted this on the 1st of June, 2023, Anno Domini, in the year of our Lord. They said, my dream boyfriend, 4 feet, giant beard, wears chainmail, lives underground, mines gold and mithril, 130 to 140 years old, natural sprinter, eats meat right off the bone, overcomes prejudice to fight side by side with an elf.
I think those are Led Zeppelin lyrics.
I think they are. I thought it played it nice. There's this trend going on, and I know y'all both sent me the videos of the guy describing various airplane parts and then just saying how they're not like certain things that happen in Lord of the Rings, and it's just really funny. It is a great genre of jokes. So those are my two tweets today.
Okay, my first one I think you guys are really going to like. It's this guy, his name is Popular Loner, and he tweeted, he said, my coworkers are talking race politics. Guess I'll join in, with a picture of Anonymous wearing a fedora. And then 3 minutes later, he responded to his own tweet and said, I got fired. Okay, this one is from Daniel at Growing Daniel. He says, bro, do you want to go out tonight? We can drink a bunch and feel bloated and tired. Tomorrow you can feel like you got hit by a truck. Come on, dude, please. Let's play Uber surge pricing.
It's funny because it's true.
Okay, here's one from our favorite Gazpacho machine, shower food review number 71.
Yes.
It is a whole pecking duck. He says he's literally holding a whole ass duck in the shower. And he says, I took some time off just to relax. Each day I try to improve myself, but I realize if you keep pushing the envelope, one day it's going to break. Anyway, this is one of the most decadent meals I've ever eaten in the shower. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Right.
Okay, and then I got one last one. It says, this is from Justin at Justin Time. It says, Dad stories. Me and your mom used to go dancing at the fair. Uncle stories. The boys and I used to tie up a strange alien behind the dumpster and make him service me. Weird gray cousin stories. Please kill me. You have to kill me.
Oh my god.
Okay. That's all I got. You guys got anything else to add?
I don't. We talked about Led Zeppelin. We shit on Greta Van Fleet. We heard about everything that happened at Bonnaroo this year. So, just overall, and Blake got a little soft on us.
It wasn't soft. It was just saying a goodbye,
Yeah, it was. I appreciate your emotional maturity to be able to say that. I think that's cool.
I do too.
I love you, man. And I love Bonnaroo. And I'm very thankful for the experiences.
Both things as well.
Yeah, you and Bonnaroo.
Yeah, me and Bonnaroo.
On that note, goodbye, everyone.
All right, see you, everybody. See you 2 weeks from now.